Hey guys, so in this tutorial we will be learning how to parse JSON in Java. We'll be parsing JSON objects into Java objects and Java objects into JSON objects. JSON is an open standard format file that's human readable. So if you look at your screen, this is a JSON file. Let me just give you a quick introduction. So JSON stands for JavaScript Object Notation, and it's basically attribute value pairs. The attributes can be of these following types. They can be strings. These two are string attributes. They can be booleans. This one is a boolean attribute. They can be numeric attributes, and it doesn't matter if it is an integer or a floating point. They can also be arrays. This is an array attribute. It's an array of strings, but it could be an array of any other kind of basic types. And this is an object attribute, which is a JSON object. So to start off, I've got a clean project here. We'll be using Maven just to manage the dependencies. We are going to be using the Jackson library. In my opinion, it's one of the easiest ones to use, and it's the one used in the Play framework that I really like, and I like the implementation that they've done there. So I'll do something like that. It's basically what I use for all of my projects that needs to deal with JSON. So the first thing is to add some dependencies. The dependencies that we are going to want to add are the Jackson core, like this. The version is 2.9.9, which is the latest one available. And we'll also add the Jackson data bind, like so. I'll use 2.9.9.3, which is the latest one available. So these two are for Jackson. Now we are going to create a package. JSON parsing this. And I'm going to create a util class that I'm going to name JSON. This class is what we're going to use to process the parsings that we'll be doing. So the first thing that we need is an object mapper from Jackson. I'll make it private. I'll import that object mapper like this. I'll also make it static because I'm only going to need one object mapper ever in my project. And also I'm instantiating it like this, but I don't really like it because the object mapper can be configured. So I'm going to create a private method that's going to be static as well. It's going to return an object mapper. I'm going to call this get default object mapper like this. It takes nothing as input, and it's going to return an object mapper. I'm going to name this default object mapper, return default object mapper like this. And instead of creating a new object mapper like this, instantiating it over here, I'm going to call this method, and I'm going to create it based on this method. The reason why I'm doing this is because object mapper can be configured, and later on I'm going to do some configurations over here. I'll leave it like that. The first method that we want to write is one that will pass a string, which will be a JSON string, into a JSON node. The JSON node is part of the Jackson library, and it's basically the base class to represent a tree mapping of the JSON object. So you'll understand more as you see it. So public static, I'm gonna make it static because I want to be calling it without creating a new JSON object all the time, and I'm going to be using the object mapper that we've got in this class, so it needs to be static. I'm gonna make it return a JSON node, which is part of the Jackson data bind, like that. I'm going to say parse string source. So it's going to take in a source, a string, basically a JSON string, and I'm going to return node. For that, I'm going to use the object mapper. And I'm going to say retrieve source, like this. And this is going to, the retrieve is going to return a JSON node, and I'm going to return it straight away. And it also generates an IO exception, which I'll make my method do a throw as well, for the time being as well. So to test this out, I'm going to create a driver class. So test main, like this. I'm going to create the main method. The normal one. And I'm going to call this util class. I'm going to pass. I'm going to give it a string. String source. JSON source, and it's going to return a JSON node if everything went well. This. Is this it? Yeah. And I'm gonna surround the try catch for the time being as well. So JSON source. I'm just going to create a very, very simple one over here for us to test. Title. So Coda from scratch. And now I'm going to access this attribute title using the get title, and I'm going to read that attribute as a text, and I'm going to system out print line, just so that we see. Let's give it a run just to see how it goes. So yeah, we are reading this JSON string. But I don't really like to have a lot of driver classes around here to test stuff out with. So one thing I'm going to do is I'm going to create JUnits to do the testing for us. So I'll go over here. I want to create a JUnit for the parse. So I'll push generate. I'll do test. I'm not using JUnit 5. I haven't imported that library on the POM, so I'll just fix that now. And it does that for me. And I'll select this method that I want to create a test case for. And I'll just press OK. And here we go. So in here, I'll do Jackson.parse. In fact, I'll just copy this over here. I'm going to call this a simple test case. JSON source. I'm going to make it private. I'll do this, and in fact, I'll delete this class right now. I don't want to have it here. Delete, and over here I'll just do this as well. I'll pass the simple test case. I'm gonna add the exception to the method signature, and instead of printing it out, I'm going to do assert equals this and Coda from scratch. I'll run the JUnit class, and everything went well. So test passed 1 of 1. We only have one, so it passed. It's good. Now, since we already have this test case and this method, the parse method, that basically converts a string into a JSON node, let's create a method that not only passes, let's create a method that passes a JSON node into an object that represents that JSON file. So for the test case that we are using, we have title. We just have an attribute, and it is a string. So I'm going to create here a package for the test objects. In fact, I won't do it here because we are already using JUnit. I'll just go over here inside JUnit and I'll create here the package for the POJO objects. So POJO, let's go. And I'm gonna call it simple test case JSON POJO, like this. And I know that it only has one attribute, which is title. So this POJO, this simple test case JSON POJO, we'll actually be able to convert this JSON into that object. But for that, we need to create another method, and that method is, we're going to call it from JSON. Okay, so I'm going to make it public, static as well, because we don't know which type of case or which type of class we are going to be converting to. We'll just leave that open from JSON, and we make the input a JSON node, and the class, that type that we want to return as class. In fact, like this. Yeah. We are also going to use again the object mapper, and we're going to do tree to value. And the tree node, we pass it is the node, and the type is going to be the class, like this. And we make it return, and we surround with try catch for the time being. Okay. No, actually, I'll just make it return like this. Okay. Let's create a method from JSON. Over here, void from JSON. This, I'll say that it is a test. This, in fact, let me just clean this up a little bit, like so. And now we want to do exactly the same thing as before. This, and I'll add the exception to the method signature. And now I'll use our new method. This, I give it the node, and I pass the simple test case JSON class. Okay. POJO. And now let us do a system out before we do the asserts. POJO title. POJO.title. Let's give it a run. Yep. So we go for the from JSON, and the output is POJO title coded from scratch. So this is good. I'll do this as well. The assert equals, instead of printing it out. And I'll do, instead of the node, I'll use the POJO.title. Okay. This is good. So as you can see, on this POJO test case that we have here, the POJO object, we left the variable as public, but we really don't want to do this. We want to do the normal bean notations. So I'll create a getter and a setter for it. So we have a get title and a set title. I'll just modify this get title, and if I run it, it will run perfectly as well. The library, the JSON library, will take care of using, in case there are no public attributes, or actually public variables to assign the value to, it will use the setters and the getters. Will use the getters, but it will use the setters to set the values in. So we'll leave it like this for the time being. On the next video, we'll do parsing from object to JSON string. Don't forget to subscribe if you want to get notified of when new videos come out.